Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm glad to have you. Welcome to your Counsellors that is brought to you by Romance Cafe and Flesh to Flesh of Alright Passion. I'm glad to have you spend this time with us. Today is going to be amazing because we are going to be talking about the courage, right? Finding the courage to divorce and to remarry. I have seen a lot of people go through mess in their marriage. I've seen people go through stuff in their marriage, right? And it's been crazy. Like you just see these people's marriage and you know that man, these two people should not be together. Like, why are you guys still together? I know for many cultural reasons and also religious reasons, many people believe that it is till death do we part. Yes, that is the general principle. The general principle is that it is till death do we part. It is till death that marriage should end. It is till death that marriage should come to an end. However, for anything where you have general principles, you also have exceptions, right? So you always want to ask yourself, what are the exceptions to this? When can people come out from their marriages? If people can ever come out from their marriage, when should it be, right? It is I, yours sincerely, yours truly, Earl Alright. And of course, I've done counseling and therapy services to help people better their sex life and their relationship for about 19 years. And I'm also a family law lawyer of about 12 years. So I get to do divorce, right? So I get to be in situations where I'm either helping people better their marriage, or on the other hand, I'm trying to help them, right, end their marriage. In what situations do they get to end their marriage? We'll be talking about that, but then let me bring my friend on studio, Cessa. So I'll be bringing her to join us right now, right? Sis, how you dey?
I define no.
How your body?
Body day.
Thank you so much for joining us. You know, it's like nursing a baby, having a family, and having to still work. And now I'm making you join us 7 p.m. just few hours after leaving work and when you are supposed to be attending to your family. No vex, forgive me.
No problem. Anything for you.
Ah, oh shit, correct. I don't have to use blank check work, so I'll keep the remaining one. I'm going to just say, I'm going to just say the line and not use them completely. I can just write them small, small. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy. You're welcome.
How is Ghana this evening?
Very cold. Weather for two.
Wow,
We
wow,
we had
and
we
this place is hot.
crowd today.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's great. Thank you. So, what came to your mind the first time I talked to you about this? I think we have been talking about this since January or February thereabouts
It was
during the
February.
elections period in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was February. We were talking about
So, what came to your mind when I approached you? I was like, hey, I think I want to host you for something like this.
it. Oh, the thing is, it's a normal thing that is
Mhm.
happening now in our society, and if we don't talk about it, a lot of things will go wrong.
Sure.
So I'm like, why not? Let's talk about it. Let's right the wrongs, and let's also um, make people understand and know that being divorced is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You being a divorcee doesn't make you a bad person either.
Yeah.
And there's light in the tunnel.
Mhm.
I
I
should
think
say
I
there's
think I.
light.
Mhm. In fact,
So
for me, I usually think that you cannot be in a bad situation and God will not create a way out. That's the first thing I usually want to believe. And anything eternal, everything eternal would be after we have died, right? After we have died, okay, so it is not eternal, right? So you are either have eternal life or you have eternal damnation, right? But for me, I usually believe that any other thing that happens in this life, God has a remedy, and divorce is a remedy, right? Divorce is a remedy to a bad marriage. God hates divorce, right? But divorce is a remedy. Although he does not like it, it becomes something that is a remedy for when that marriage becomes terribly bad, for when that marriage becomes so bad, right? Because I do not see it like God wants people to stay in. Maybe it's because I'm a lawyer now, and I'm also seeing it also from the part of it, counselor, which you are too. Like people being in a bad marriage, some people will say, oh, I want you to separate. Maybe you should separate and the rest. Okay, let me even start with that. Let's pick it up from there. What is your thoughts regarding separation and divorce? What's your thoughts regarding that?
I will base my thoughts on the Bible. Um,
Okay.
when I hear divorce, the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I ask is, what is the root cause of the divorce?
Sure.
So if I hear the word divorce, what comes to my mind is the root cause of the divorce, because divorce don't doesn't happen just like that. No way,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't happen just like that. Something must happen. There must be a cause for divorce to occur. So when I hear
Yeah.
divorce, the first thing my mind goes to is, what is the root cause of the divorce? And when I hear separation, what is the root cause of the separation? Is it for life's sake, or is it for all of us to calm our horses down and then we start again from where we stopped? So those
Yeah.
are the two things that come to my mind.
Okay. Okay. What before we go into the divorce gist proper, let me just ask this. What would you advise people to separate the eternity or to explore divorce?
Yeah. I
Because
think I have to
there are some people, they just separate, no plans of going back. So they have been separated for the last 8 years, separated for the last 10 years, separated for the last 15 years, separated for the last 20 years. Some of our grandmothers were separated for more than 30 years, 40 years, right? If you start looking into
Yes.
people's family, the mother have been living separately with the children for several years, but they are not divorced, but they are just separate. What would be your counsel regarding that? Should people just separate infinitum, or at what point would you want them to consider divorce?
When I hear that, or I see a couple that have been separated for more than 5 to 6 years,
Mhm.
I'm I'm like, what's it remain again? Yes, because I really want to be logical about this thing. What is
Mhm.
wrong? And then you see separation extending to 10 years. With
Yes.
when I came back from work today, I just had a random talk with my mom. You know, my mom was actually asking me to translate what is razor in Igbo.
Okay.
That she wanted to get the right stuff. Okay, what actually happened was that I was singing a song I remembered way back, children department, Sunday school children department in Igbo, and my mom was like, no, this is how it sang. And I said, no, this is how the pastor's wife taught us then. My mother was like, oh, we're still in a dialogue. So she now asked me what was um, what can you translate razor blade into
Yes.
Igbo? Yeah, I said, I don't know. So she was trying to translate it. And then someone came to mind who sang a song about Samson's hair being cut by Delilah, who married the wrong wife. If you might know Pati Obasi of blessed memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my mom was like, hey, the church really made that man to suffer. the wife left him and went to marry another person. And the church said, because the wife is alive, he's not allowed to marry again. He's not allowed to marry again, that he should remain like that till eternity. So the man stayed for almost 25 years without getting married.
Wow.
And then he decided that he wanted to get married. He was suspended.
Wow.
So now, how will you keep someone unmarried for a very long time? And human beings thrive on relationship.
Sure.
Yes, that is why I believe. Let me not say I feel. I believe that relationship, especially in marriage, was the basis of God before church, religion, or Muslim had to come into it, right? God started family first before any other thing should come, before the law and the grace came in place. So this is the thing I always say, that um, relationship is very important for both the woman and the man. Staying too long separated will cause a mental breakdown. We don't talk about the mental health of those people who have been separated for long. We don't talk about how it affects especially the children. We don't talk about how it affects their life and choices. We don't talk about how it's a ripple effect.
Sure.
It keeps going and going and to get to all of them. So why don't you allow someone to get involved with another person when the other person has left?
Sure.
So that's my own belief. So we should
I
allow
agree with
people
you.
to get married.
I agree with you. Because for me, I usually say something, like you said, when we were talking about church people, the good thing about it is that we are all church people. And if I can remember, your dad is was a pastor, right? Did I get that correctly? Get that? Yeah, a pastor's kid now.
Yes.
Okay, good. So we are both church people because my dad is also a pastor. So the two of us, we are pastor's kids, right? The mindset people had in the church, not just the Nigerian church, I'm even talking about the universal church, because I'll say the same things in churches in the US, churches in the UK, and churches everywhere, where there's this belief that, oh, God does not support divorce, but however, you can separate. So they are like, okay, you guys should separate whenever the two of you be able to reconcile and the rest. And I usually say something that if people want to separate, if you ever want to consider separation, there are some questions I want you to answer. How long are you going to be separating for? I have seen people who are separated for years and they reconciled and they came back, but I don't think it is healthy for you to have separation more than 2 years. In fact, I feel that the proper time for you to have separation for is 9 months. Like in 9 months, the two of you should be able to know whether you want to come back to that marriage or one person wants to move on or not. Like that situation where you see people that they have been separated from their spouse, they are not divorced, but they have just been separated for 1 year, 2 years, and more. And I'm asking myself, like, what's the reason? Why are you doing all of that to yourself? Why don't you just choose where you want to be? Do you want to be here or you want to be somewhere else, right? So I'm saying this to those who are watching us right now, that if you're separating from your spouse, the primary purpose of separation is to ascertain some certain things. Number one, to be able to review that marriage from outside the marriage. So you want to step out to actually review the marriage to see whether this marriage is something you want to continue with or this marriage is not something you want to continue with. Now, after you have made that review and you have made that assessment, you are now also asking yourself, are there things I could have done that I did not do? Are there things that I did that I did not do well, that I did not do properly, right? So you're asking yourself these questions. You're asking yourself these particular questions to be able to know what is it that you should do, then you're seeking professional help. So you are talking to a counselor, you are talking to therapists, you are trying to see how you guys can come together and work things out. And in my own opinion, after 9 months, maximum of 2 years, if you guys are not together, please consider just go and divorce. That's my belief system, that if 2 years you have actually put in the effort in that 2 years to see how you can better things off, and you're unable to do things, then please go and divorce. All these ones that, oh, you are separated, but why you are separating, you are doing talking stage with other people. Why you are separated, you having affairs with other people. Why you are separated, you are not meeting the emotional, the sexual, the domestic, the social needs of your spouse, and it is just continuing like that. Like, hey, why don't you just pull out, right? Why don't you just pull out? So Cessa, I want to come to you and ask the question, from the stories that you have heard, from your own personal story, and also the stories that you have heard from other people regarding divorce, right? Because you are a counselor too, and so people have also been approaching you with situations like this. What will you say are those key things that people should consider, men and women should consider before taking the step of divorce? Or rather, let me say this way, at what time should people consider divorce in their marriage?
Like, first thing first, when I see people come to me with the basis of the divorce as irreconcilable differences, right?
Yeah.
I ask, what cannot be irreconcilable? Like, is it, so long as it does not have abuse, it's not violent, somebody's life or finances. Sometimes we might even forgive finances. Maybe the person was not wise enough with the finances at then.
Sure.
But when we say irreconcilable differences, I'd like to know what cannot be reconciled, or is it our ego that is coming into the way? So I ask, what is it that you cannot reconcile? And again, before divorce, there are simple questions that should be asked. What are your deal breakers?
Yeah.
As a person, and what is the other person's deal breaker? Does it align? Do your values align? All these questions needs to be asked, and then you work hand in hand to it and see if you could live with this person for life.
Sure.
I know humans change, quite all right, but
Yeah.
there are things that somebody holds dear, like their values, that you can say, okay, let me watch this person for 9 months, like you say, if they would change. Some of them, maybe that time their head they hot, then they vex. So when their head comes down, sorry, I'm using pidgin English, because I think pidgin English would be the right way to. When their head comes down, when they're settled, they will now find that the mistake they have made, and they want to reconcile. So when it is period of an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage, I'll say, okay, let's separate and see how we could work this out together. And let's be honest with ourselves. Let's look as if you're recording, like you're recording yourself. And then this time it's not over picture, over shawarma. This one, your head is clear, your eye is clear. So that's it. But when is it time to consider divorce? It's not if the marriage is violent, when a life is involved, or when somebody is deliberately being wicked.
Yeah.
So that is when divorce can come into play. I used to say, look out for this thing. Like I used to tell someone, um, leave to when it comes to violence, leave to leave. Don't stay and do war room in a violent marriage. Please, you will carry the battle over to the other side. And then Angel Gabriel will be very angry for wasting your life. So most of the times, I would say when the thing is violent and when the person is deliberately wicked, not when I talk about violence, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about physical violence alone. I'm not talking about physical abuse alone. I'm not talking. I'm talking about financial abuse, emotional abuse, um,
Yeah. True.
the all the abuses put together.
True.
And some of you
True.
have gone to seek help, and this person is not willing to change. The other part is not willing to change. Please separate. If the person doesn't want to change within that time frame of 9 months to 1 year, I think you should file for divorce and move on with your life. See,
Yeah.
they say marriage no dey heaven.
That's right. Now it's Jesus Christ talk.
Yes, they say marriage no dey heaven.
Yes. Sir. you, the thing about it is that I like the part where you mentioned if the person is wicked, because for many men, they may not have a woman who is physically violent, but they may have a woman who is manipulative, the spirit
Yeah,
of witchcraft. They may
one
have a
time.
woman who is emotionally abusive. They may have a woman who is emotionally controlling and all of that. So I see that summing it up inside the wickedness. Because we sometimes when we are in court and we are in family court and we are just listening to some people's cases, right? Maybe not even our case, other people's cases. We are like, Lord have mercy. Like, you mean people are going through this? Like, people are sometimes, for us who are counselors and for people like me who also now merge law practice with it, we usually emotionally detach from our cases because, like, you cannot kill yourself. How many people do you want to be emotionally attached to? Maybe the day you are attending to more than 3 cases. Like, so sometimes while we empathize with people, while we empathize with the situations, we try not to be attached to it. But there are cases that I've done that have been so close to me that sometimes I just say, no, please, I would like to hand over this your case to another lawyer, or I would like to handle this your counseling case to another therapist to attend to you. Because of our relationship, I'm getting too emotional. Like, I'm like, this is wickedness. Like, using the words that you have used, pure wickedness, right? So, in situations like this, now I want to ask you, because you are someone who has gone through this before. Where can people find the courage? Where can people find the courage to be able to say, I want to divorce and I'm going on with it? Where can they find the support system? How can they self-motivate themselves, right? This self-motivation, right? Ginger themselves. Who are the people they should find to give them the motivation? Because see, there are many people right now who want to divorce and they are suffering from indecision. In fact, sometimes they will approach lawyers to start. Sometimes they pen the case, they study the case, and all of that. You just see this front and back. Today they want to divorce. Tomorrow they are giving it a second thought. They know they have to be out of this marriage. They know this marriage is ruining them. They know this marriage is not good for them, and they have to leave. But they are not finding the courage to take it. I would like to ask you, for someone like you, where did you get the courage from? One, who for other people who you know other of your counselors who you know who have also gone through divorce, where did they find the courage from? So that those who are watching right now will be able to also source this courage to be able to divorce.
You see, that's best when it comes to the courage. It's deep inside you. It's lying there. It's there. It's just waiting for you to roar. It's waiting for you to put your hand in there and pull out that courage. It's like you have your wings, right? Clipped. And then the where you open it is okay. Let me use a baby's car seat
Okay.
for as an example. You know, you harness the baby and then you clip the baby down, right? And then immediately you unclip it. You see the baby kicking their legs and everything. I think they want to jump out of the car seat. So that is how courage we are wearing this courage like harness over us. And then the only thing you have to do is just for you to press that thing and release it. Or let me use a parachute. You know, when we watch in movies, I've not used a parachute before. As
Yeah.
but one of my bucket list is to do skydiving.
Oshe.
So when you see them wear the parachute, right?
I'm with you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Can still
When
hear
you
you
see
loud
them,
and clear.
wear the parachute,
Mm-hmm.
they are going down. The parachute doesn't look all that big. It's just a small thing behind them. Immediately they pull the string, the parachute comes up, and then they are able to balance. That is how the courage is given us. It's for you first to find it. There, it's sitting down right
Yeah.
there for you
Yeah.
to find it, and you determine that you are going to use this courage and walk out of that marriage.
Yeah.
No, you don't need any Jupiter. You don't need anybody to tell you what to do. So it's right there because when you make up your mind, pick up the courage, I tell you, you'll fly. And then the other instance that I will talk about is this healthy relationship. Healthy relationships will help you. When I talk about healthy relationships, I mean healthy friends.
Yeah.
People who can tell you that, look, we are dragging you out of your hair or by the leg. We are going to pull you out from there. If you are having second thoughts, there are people who will pull the plug and let your courage come out. So this
Yeah.
thing, these two things are the motivation that will. If immediately you have healthy relationships and you can pull
Yeah.
the courage by yourself, you are good to go. People who are not going to use that vulnerable moment to make fun of you or gossip about you, rather they will have your back. They will have your back. They will support you any way they can. And I will
Yeah.
tell you, why most people are still in relationships that they want to divorce is financial instability.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some people that because they don't have money, or where am I going to
Mm-hmm.
start from, and all that, that's why they hold back.
Sure. Sure.
That's why they hold
Sure.
back. So
And
that's
some think
why
that they have invested too much into the marriage. Like,
yes,
after I've been here for like 10 years, 15 years, 20
after
years, you are just telling me to
everything,
walk away.
yes, like everything somebody say after everything I've done,
Hmm.
you just want to walk away from there. And that's the thing. If you have people around you, healthy people around you, and secondly, if you have what other one what I call it, your courage that is inside you there for you to get up and move. These two things are key. And again, I'll also say society they will talk. But right now it's even better. They'll
Sure.
talk about your case
It's getting
for
better
one
by
month.
the day.
No, I mean like the talking is more like way back that they will talk
Yes,
your
of
matter.
course.
They will be talking about your matter for 1 year. But I promise you this time around your matter will last 1 month. Either he'll
Nobody has
divert
your
it,
time. They are not too busy.
either Mark Angel will take their topic off your mouth, or he'll
Hmm.
divert it, or some other trending topics will come and then they will forget about it. Keep moving, keep pushing, keep going. And then when you look back, you see that you took a good decision for yourself. If you have children, for your children, because no one wants to be in a bad marriage and end up with children who are mentally balanced. No, it's going to affect them. It's
Yeah.
going to affect them. They are going to go through a lot of trauma. And then the cycle continues. The cycle continues. You know, as counselors, we know. Like
Yeah.
there was a case I treated. The lady kept saying that because of her child, and the child was just 3 years old. And I told her, this man keeps beating you in front of this child. And then count years now, the boy is a violent child, very violent, very, very violent, because he sees that the person who has authority over his life is doing that thing. So he thinks it's
Mm.
normal.
That's
So
true.
his brain is
True.
normal. So the best thing you would do for your children, even when, like I used to tell men will say, "Hey, what they will say that I'm the bad one here." I'll say, "Let them
Yeah.
say,
I,
let
I
them."
think that's it. I sorry to cut you in, right? But I think that's one thing that I've got to say. I've seen some people who know right now that they are already out of the marriage. You know, this quiet quitting thing, right? They are just only in that marriage physically, but emotionally, spiritually, socially, everything. They are out of the marriage, but they just still stay. And sometimes when they come to us, they are actually asking us how much they can stay. How can we make them enjoy their stay? They don't want the marriage to get better because they know that they are already done, but they are wanting the other person to be the one to fight for the divorce. So that they are not tagged the bad one. You know, because there's this belief that whoever goes and asks for the fight for divorce, whoever goes and asks for the divorce is the bad one. There's this idea about it. And also there's also this misconception that many people have that the person who files the divorce petition is the one who spends more money, is the one who spends more money, is the one who gets to go through more stress during the divorce. So there are many men right now who are open to divorce. They want divorce, but they are not going to fight. Many men have already quiet quitted their marriage. Like there's this, they are no longer in it. They just show up. There are many women who are no longer in their marriage, but they just show up. They don't want to be Nami fight the divorce so that they don't be the wicked. Let society don't think that, oh, they are the bad person. So I get that directly from the experiences that I'm seeing. So I would like to ask, what was it like for you making that decision to divorce? Because right now, from there, I also want to talk about how you are able to handle the societal stigma. We cannot deny that you must have faced one or two, right? How you are able to handle all of that. So for that, I want to start with, what was it like for you choosing that divorce and going through divorce?
The, I think it was one of the best things that happened. And
Okay.
then finding the courage was a bit difficult because I had a lot of things in my mind. Like, what will people say? What will my mother say? What will the pastor say? Being a pastor's kid and all that. And then, hey, and I could stubborn before. They know me like a stray
I know. Yeah.
hen. Then I was like, hey, there were people who were already predicting that I wouldn't last. I was like, okay, their predictions are come to pass and all that. So you see, I had to like close my ear to all this and go ahead, walk away. The stigma
Mm.
was there, but um, I think my stubbornness was a good thing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that they talk no concern me. Oh. Ahead.
I say I know they do again, I know they do again. Not getting I want to talk.
So not when I did they married, not when I did the FCC.
Mm,
So I don't know
mm,
what they go. Anything I
mm.
like, when my baby and I go. So and again, this thing is what has kept a lot of people down. What will people say? My reputation and stuff.
Mm.
But anytime you go to the holy books, both the Sanskrit, the Holy Quran, the Holy Bible, you will find people who dust it up and tried again.
Yeah.
You know that Aliyah song going sing with Jet Li that year.
Mhm.
Dust it up and try again. Now the
Yeah.
ringtone in my head. So I think
Dun, dun, dun.
you will fall. The matter is, are you getting up from that fall?
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
getting? Are you dusting? Not only getting up from the fall. There's the falling part. There's the getting up of the falling, and then there's you dusting up yourself and trying again and taking it. That is the most important thing. That's the most
Yeah.
important. You get what adage where my grandpapa did say. He say
Okay.
a rolling stone gathers no more.
Mhm.
So just dey go forward. Don't look back.
I like that. Like you said earlier on, and I also want to say to people who are watching right now, Princessa said that earlier on at the beginning, for those who joined us from the very beginning, that before you start saying you are divorcing, the irreconcilable, most people just come up with irreconcilable differences, right? Sometimes we lawyers, I think it's something we lawyers created, right? Like when we don't have real tangible reasonable grounds for us to bring your divorce to bring your marriage to an end, we start saying there are irreconcilable differences. Well, what are these irreconcilable differences? The judges, the court will always want to know what the irreconcilable differences are. And Princessa made it clear to us from the beginning that it should be violence, right? Violence and wickedness. Violence and wickedness. Not just the fact that, oh, I don't like him again, I don't like her again. That will happen. There are many times I will look at my wife and like, oh, okay, like, what are you doing here? Why are we this house together? There are seasons, there are times and seasons, but then it should be on the grounds of wickedness and domestic violence, whatsoever that definition of wickedness is. And that's why you may need a counselor or a therapist to actually help you properly view this marriage, properly identify the issues arising, and see if there are issues that are resolvable or not before you start considering divorce and all of that. And by the time you are taking that step, Princessa says seek all the support you can get. That's why you need healthy friends and healthy friendship. If you're having a partner right now as a guy or as a woman and your spouse is trying to cut you off from all the healthy friendships that you have, or the person you're dating is trying to cut you off from all the healthy friendships that you have, you should be concerned that that may be a red flag, because by the time you will need their support and them to motivate, give you that support, right? Give your courage that support to pull out from that toxic relationship, you may not be able to find it. So, Princessa, back to you. I'm coming back to you right now. And you were able to go through all of that, and you decided to say you wanted to marry again. What were your fears? What were you scared? Were you terrified of? hope I'm not going back to the same type of marriage again. We don't have all the time to talk about your divorce, right? Because I remember one time you were sharing your story and you talked about how you had to run, run away from home, walk a crazy distance because you had carried knife and you wanted to stab, if I can still remember that story correctly, like you actually wanted to kill him or something until you came to yourself and you had to walk away from the house and you trekked a long distance. Those of us that know worry will be able to know that distance and the rest. So by the time you pulled out from that marriage, you got through the healing process, and now you were wanting to remarry. What were the fears you had to deal with? What were the realities, the emotional, social, and psychological realities that you had to deal with at that particular time?
First, I would say I was scared. The
Okay.
thing is that I sought healing.
Oh, great.
I didn't God. Yes.
How did you seek the healing? Jesus, tell us. What were the practical things you did? Yes, because people are watching right now, and even after today, there are people who are going to come back and going to watch for years to come. So, what were the practical things you did to make you move from that hurt to healing, from that damage to healing to recovery?
I decided that I was not going to bear the burden, the hurt, because it was going to kill me faster, right? Um, the book says, "Let bitterness and rancor not be found in you."
That's right.
And I read while I was younger, my parents exposed me to a lot of books. I used to read medical journals, and one of my best medical journals were on psychology and infectious diseases. And I found out that psychology has proven, science has proven that people who are bitter, who have grudges, who still hold on to their hurt, tend to get very sick, get depressed, even get cancer.
Wow.
And me, I was like, no, I don't want to be part of this. And I don't want to bear any grudge against anybody. So I have to seek healing. Healing is very important to anyone who has been hurt, whether by a spouse, by a parent, by normal relationships or anything. I will
Yes.
always recommend for healing therapy. We should go see therapists that are certified for that kind of healing. And I did. I did seek the healing. I went through the process and everything. And you will be shocked at what you hold on to that you say, not today. I don't forget I'm not lying. When you go to that therapy, go, you go shock yourself. You go shock yourself. How the trauma is being locked up in there. And the last of
Yeah.
it I did energy healing. I went to healing. I know it's quite new in this our climb, but it's really, really helping a lot of people.
Please
So I
explain
went,
it so that people can understand it better. What it's like. What?
okay, energy healing is a therapeutic healing that does not use any medication. I want to clarify of that. It's pure psychology. The therapist will work with your core self, with your core
Oh, great.
subconscious. Yes. And then help you to expunge those traumas through energy healing.
Oh,
That's how
great.
it's done.
Oh, so it's more or less like bringing you healing through your own internal energy,
Yes,
helping
internal
you muster
energy.
your energy to I saw something like that recently that, okay, I've always read about it, but I saw it recently that the body has the capacity to heal itself if
Itself,
only
yes.
we are able, of course, you are the herbalist now. Oh, in case people don't know, she's a herbalist. If you check the description section, you will see some of the things that Cessa does. She's a herbalist, so she does herbs. She, in fact, she's my number one. Herself and another of my friend Awa, who is in Benue, they are my number one people when it comes to Kayamata. So if you need natural Kayamata, like Kayamata that does not need juju or jazz, this is somebody you should go to. Like Princessa is somebody you should go to. Don't worry, we'll drop her details in the comment section so that you could contact her if you want to contact her for those services. She works with herbs. Recently, I still contacted Princessa because I needed to work with. I had a counselee who had erectile dysfunction, right? So we needed food, we needed diet, we needed to work on his diet to boost his sexual arousal, to help his erectile dysfunction, because that erectile dysfunction was based on anxiety, it was based on anxiety, it was based on stress, it was not the medical clinical issues. Although psychology is also clinical, so it was based on anxiety and stress. And so one of the things I needed to work on in his life was to see how to use food, diet to boost his libido again, to help him bypass that anxiety and stress. And the first person I contacted was Princessa. I like, Princessa, I have somebody with this kind of issue, and I'll be needing you to help me prescribe something to boost his sexuality. So she's a herbalist, she's a mamalawo, she's a native doctor that uses, but she does not use negative spiritual energy. So she does not use Africa voodoo. She does not use juju. She just uses the normal, natural combination. So energy healing here now means we working with nature and working with your internal energy to help you, help your mind, and help your body heal again. So sis, yes, so in remarrying, what were now the things you had to consider? Because right now you are married to an amazing husband and you have a blended family. I think the blended family will be the last thing that I'll ask you about, but second to the last, the way my Nigerian brothers will say it, second to the last thing, what were those things you had to consider in remarrying?
I had to consider first my values. I had to upgrade my values. Yeah. Because there's one thing I know. I had if you don't get better, you will not get the better person. So I developed myself personally. I went through self-development. Like first I had to curb I used to be very, very
Mhm.
sarcastic. Very sarcastic. So say back when I was in secondary school, my nickname was Fragile, but as painful as broken glass. That was my nickname.
Wow.
Yes, fragile, but
Wow.
as painful. My mouth, my mouth is sharp. With my tiny voice, I will tell you, I will just give you one paragraph, you'll go cry.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I had to work on my emotions. I had to work on
Yeah.
the way I talk. I had to do a lot of self-development on anger management.
Mm.
To I'm this then I was this kind of person that I boil slowly. I simmer, you go dey simmer small small, you go dey simmer small
Yeah.
small. And then
Yeah.
when I boil over, the no dey fit stop me. I had to work on myself. I had to look at my flaws. I had to become better, make my strengths to be better than my flaws. So I concentrated on my strengths and developed them more. And then
Yeah.
I made sure I walk through myself so that I'll be better. Because I believe that self development is the best investment you could ever do to yourself. Look at yourself, tell
True.
yourself the truth. I actually took a pen and paper and wrote down my good and my bad side, and then I started
Wow,
working on them.
wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So I
You were
worked on my.
deliberate.
I was deliberate. I was deliberate. We have to be intentional so that you won't carry the same baggage into this one. And then before you know, you don't they become serial divorcee.
That's true.
Before you know, they don't they call your banjo.
That's true.
So I had to work on myself for that one. So working on myself and then becoming a better person and then looking out, I had to change my perspective of the kind of person I wanted. See, truth be told, I don't marry my spec because with the find spec, we dey enter trouble. Because most of the time, your spec, your spec might not be the will of God for your life. Seek
Yeah.
the will of God.
Mm.
I asked questions. There was actually a wedding I months to the wedding because I listened to the voice of the Holy Spirit. It was too good to be true, but I felt something off. Follow your
Yeah.
gut feeling. Follow your gut feeling. Don't pamper it. Oh, so I don't try get this one now. But you are feeling off. You're not asking God for direction. Always ask God for direction for whom you want to marry. Pray, make God bring man we go fit you like a glove. That's what I asked God
Yeah.
for. And I looked out for it. And I tell you, I I think I'm married to one of the best men on earth. But if you say if it's my spec, he wasn't in my spec because when I brought him out, I said, "Oh, this is the guy I wanted to marry." My friends were like, "Huh? How?" Because they knew my spec. He was nothing
Yeah.
of my spec, and I was like, "This is the guy I want to get married to." And I'm so glad I made that choice. I followed
Wow.
my feeling and I followed the voice of God to do that.
Yeah.
Listen, you will hear most of the time now. I was stubborn as in three of years. We dey think saying
Sure.
go come like the way dem dey do for cartoon. My son, I lie o. No be Manzayo movie.
My sister say my son, my son. Okay, because I don't want to take all of your evening, right? Make your husband not go sue me. Come, call me now. Say what dey happen. And besides, you get baby where be say you see the breastfeed. In fact,
Yeah,
it's
first
that
baby.
baby supposed to be exclusive. If you talk about her for exclusive, we go sue you. You never reach 6 months now. You don't reach 6 months. Never reach 6 months now. So
He's just 4 months.
exactly. Ordinarily, it is supposed to be exclusive. It's supposed to be suck with as a, it's supposed to be suck without conscience, like just the suck anyhow. And
Olympus has
and the rest.
fallen. Olympus has fallen.
Oh boy. That thing, that part of the gist will gist another day. That day to be flesh to
I
flesh topic, but we'll
I
bring it
tell
here.
you, Olympus has fallen. And the main
So,
owner of
so
Olympus, don't they protest. He
you,
don't they carry placard.
you know, say one time I tell my wife, say, you see girls now that they go without bra, that they go without bra. I say, I say, you know, if you try, we don't even know, say, if you go without bra now, we don't even know, say, if you woman.
Olympus, no worry. You see all those ones they go without bra. Very soon Olympus go fall. Gravity go meet Olympus. The
Now,
children
now
of God
just in
will go
time.
to meet Olympus.
Hmm. Wait, so what's the
I
I
can't
try
hear
find
you.
what's the echo.
I don't dey hear you.
Hey, mute your first self.
I don't dey hear you.
You know they hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. But is it echoing on your own side?
Yes, it's echoing on my own side.
Okay, it don't stop.
Say that again.
Oh, great.
Okay.
I come. Mm, I don't know where that is coming from. Did you remove your earpiece or something? Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, great. It's from your side. So it's like maybe your speaker is open, your earpiece pulled or something. But that's fine. Let's still see how we go.
But can you hear?
Let's.
Can you hear now?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, don't worry. I know what to do. Sorry, I'll just mute you for a while. Then once it's time for you to comment, I will mute you so that we will be able to ensure that we don't echo. Sorry to everyone that is watching technical issues. Uh, we are not engineers. Who are we? I'm a counselor and a lawyer. She's a herbalist and she's a herbalist. She's a counselor. She's a travel consultant. She is amazing and everything. Okay, now lastly, the last question that I want to ask Cessa before we end today's conversation is I know that she has a blended family, right? Hey, person don't control on television. Oh. So she has you have a blended family right now. I also have I come from a blended family, and that's because my father married already had us before he married my mom. My mom already had a child before she married my dad, and now they have two children. So right, so we have this family that is wide, and my mom has her own child that we don't have any relationship with. My dad has a child that my mother's child does not have any relationship with. Then the two of them now have children that we have relationship with, and the rest. When it comes to being open to marry, being open to having a blended family, right? What is your counsel? That would just be the last thing I want to ask you. Of course, your baby has come to take our to tell me that my time is up.
Okay. First, know the person's view on a blended family, and make sure the person is honest about it. Because and also watch out, not only know, watch out for body language, and also watch out for the unspoken words when it comes to blended family, when it's being spoken about it and that person is there. Watch, read in between the lines, and then you will know if this person is really up to take your children as their own. And also for you too, are you also ready to take the person's children? If the person also have, are you ready to take them as your own without bias? You have to decide on that. Hello, can you hear me? You have to decide on that,
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
whether you want to. So let it be a I call it mutualism in values, mutualism in the marriage. Let it be there. Talk about it, and also watch for the unspoken words, the body language about it. I am blessed with 5 children right now, coming from both my husband's side. From my husband was in a previous relationship, and then from my own side. So until we tell you, you know, go know. So that
That's
is
so
it.
true.
Yes, because we blended so well that you don't have to know. You don't have to know that, okay, this is a blended family. We agreed on it together. There are some people who, when I say they are utterly wicked, it's a blended family. Both of you came with the children into the remarriage thing, and then you're treating the other person's child bad and treating your own good. Haba, that's pure wickedness. That's part of the wickedness I'm talking about. So these things should be spoken about, and also watch out for unspoken words, watch out for the body language of the person, pick up things that the person is not saying about it, and then from there you make your own choice. It is, see, let me tell you, it will reduce your stress, it will actually reduce your burden. For instance, if now maybe you still dey single, maybe na 5 children in one born, you come meet person wey get 2 already, maybe you go just add two or 3 to the mix. You don't complete. That's it now. Or maybe you just wanted to have and then you mess up.
This thing what you talking that's true. I remember my stepmom was saying that when she got pregnant for the second child, she was screaming like, "How would you be pregnant for the second child? This and that and the rest." And I will, what about two now? The rest, who know? Maybe you go born girl, because she had a son before marrying my dad. My dad had 4 sons, 1 girl. She had a son. So boys just go everywhere. Like, okay, maybe if you are pregnant again, that you have another girl. Like, for which family? This is not a family where girls is scarce like anything. Like, girls na hot cake for my general extended family, because girls is scarce. Like, you dey fast and pray to who born girl. So we are like, okay, just this and that. And she said no, that she don already get plenty children, all of us. And I think that's one thing about blended family, having a blended family. If we don't tell you today that my mom is our stepmom, you will not believe. Like, even the submission we, her children, we submit to her, she get full authority over us, as seen to say that she born us. Like, the kind of authority where she get over us. In fact, I usually tell people, say, now let my mama fit tell us, say make we dey call house, and we go dey call house. If my papa tell us, say make we dey call house, we go like, daddy, why? Abeg, we no fit travel, abeg, road get accident, abeg, this one there dey happen, that. But if mom still call like this, we go call dey beg, abeg, I no fit come this time, I fit come next time. We go call dey negotiate, right? So there's beauty in that blended family, as long as you no dey wicked. So thank you so much, Princessa, for coming. I don't carry 3 minutes join the time where I beg you for. I don't even carry 4 join. I beg, no verse, forgive me, no verse. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. I cannot even remember how the 2 of us became friends, but maybe we were co-speakers somewhere, but I cannot remember. But you have just been an amazing friend all these years, from when we were in Nigeria, moving to Ghana with your family, and to today. Thank you so much. And Princessa is one of our amazing persons too in our flesh to flesh community, which is strictly for married people, strictly for people who are married, because there we dey do dirty sex talks and all of that for married people. So please, if you dey married and you want to join our flesh to flesh, you fit join. If you dey single, you fit join our romance cafe and all of that. We go bring Princessa come back again. See, as I don't switch to pidgin, God help me. Princessa don't spoil my mouth. Okay, anyway, we'll bring her back again, right? Like I said, we'll drop in the comment section the details through which you can contact her. If she approves of us to drop her WhatsApp number. She charges professional fees for consultation, whether for as a counselor, as a herbalist, or as a travel consultant, right? So people like me now, the day where Jackpot go enter my mind, now Princessa that I go still get my back. Princessa join who go get my back. If I for right fashion, I get everybody, everything what I need for this type, that teacher, dad, and Princessa, everything they just put there for Alright fashion. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. Thank you for joining us. This is your Counselors, and it happens here on YouTube live every Thursday 8 p.m. Next week Thursday is going to be amazing, because next Thursday we are going to be talking about the joys and challenges of marrying early. So we are going to be talking to people who married before they were 25 years old, guys and ladies, right, who married before they were 25 years old. So if you're single right now, or you know single people who you want us to join, or you are married right now and you have always been believing that people need to get old first before they get married. Nah, it does not happen like that again, right? It was not happening before, and there is another way. You can marry early and have an amazing marriage. Dr. Arekion told us last week that he married 2 weeks ago, thereabouts, that he married at the age of 20. That's a guy marrying at the age of 20. Next week, we are going to be talking to people who married before they were 25. And today, some of them have been married for several years and they are having an amazing marriage. So we are going to be looking at the joys and the challenges of marrying early. If you want to contact us, use the details showing on the screen or in the description section. Thank you from the city of Ibadan. This is me saying you rock. I think we should still hear one more thing from Cessa. I beg. Give us your final words, ma'am, before I tell you say bye-bye.
Mic is muted. Okay, my final words is that live your best life yet. Keep living your best life. Tomorrow is not promised. Hey, tomorrow is not promised. Live your best life. Live it. And also make sure that when you're living your best life, don't hurt anybody. Good night.
Okay, thank you so much. Live your best life. Just continue living it. Just continue living it. And I think there's one thing she said from there that I want to pick. And that was when she said that do ensure that in living your best life, you do not hurt another person while living your best life. I can see some people see on right now. Can you just kindly tell us where you are joining us from? Can you just tell us where are you watching from? Just drop in the comment section before we end. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are you watching us from? We would like to hear what's up for the comment section. Where are you watching us from? Where are you watching us from? Tell me. It's like they are disappearing, no? Okay, no wahala. Good night, fellow. See you Thursday next week, 8 p.m. You rock.